All right, Grand Rapids makes significant changes into the housing rules. Here's what they mean. And here's what they mean really for real estate investors. So when we're taking a look at what Grand Rapids recently did, we're going to take a look at the changes they made. So big thing here, accessory dwelling units. They've reduced restrictions on accessory dwelling units, essentially making it so you can have more of them. So if I have like a detached garage, I can take that, turn it into another unit. So maybe I buy a house, right? I buy a 2,000 square foot house. I take that house, I turn it into a duplex, and then I have a detached garage for that house. I now turn into a third unit. But maybe the garage, maybe there's attached garage, right? So I leave the garage. But let's say now the backyard is big, but I don't need a big backyard. This is a rental. I don't care about that. What I do care about is optimizing how much money I make on this property. So I can now pop up a dwelling in the back. Boom, there we go. You might see people do this with like old pool barns that have good structures too. Take one of those, turn that into an actual space. I've seen people do that with like secondary garages that may have been used more for like storing more equipment back in the day for somebody who maybe had a small business, then sold their house to a real estate investor. Boom, they turn that into like a second little rental unit. And that can be effective. You see that done in California a good amount. I've worked with people who they'll say, look, I'm going to buy this property and the backyard is just big enough that I can pave a little bit of land and pave a little bit further in with the driveway. Now I have enough parking and I can put a little AUD in the back. That is just an accessory dwelling unit. Other big change that's going to affect that is going to be more units in one building getting approved. It means that you have less space requirements needed. So if previously I could only turn a building into a duplex from a single family, maybe now I can turn that building into a 3 unit or a 4 unit, just because I now have less restrictions on that, which gives us the higher availability of units. Now, if we couple the two of these things together, we get something interesting. I buy a house, I turn it into a 2 unit. I take the garage that's detached, I turn it into a 3 unit. I build another AUD in the back, now I have a 4 unit, right? These are things that are kind of possibilities now in Grand Rapids that may not have been possible in the spaces we're looking at before. So what that looks like is you have a higher density of people that are going to be living in all of these spaces, because when real estate investors buy a property that they want to keep, they're going to be looking to take that property, increase the number of people who can live in it as much as possible to get the highest bang for their buck in a lot of cases. I mean, a lot of guys that are in this for a while, they go into a property, they say, okay, it's near a downtown area, people want more apartment style living, cool, let's chop this house in half or chop it into 4s, and you get there, right? I worked with somebody in New York one time and this is why I stopped working with New York, because it's a little bit weird with some of the properties they had out there. They'd take a condo and they'd chop it up into 5 or 6 units, and it'd be like a 2,000 square foot condo. They'd break it into 5 or 6 units, very small square footage in each unit, and I don't want to see that happening to like the areas that I live in, because it honestly isn't good, I think. That's my biased opinion. But I mean, this is going to create a lot of opportunity for real estate investors. And the design of it is to ease the local need for more housing. So we're going to get more housing, and then real estate investors are also going to have the opportunity to make more rents because they can increase the population density inside the rentals.